All right, let's get started. So first things, because right now we don't have anything inside the Rhino's model scene. So for this part, it is okay for you to open up a new file. Okay, so you don't have to keep the things that we have made in the last time. After all, we didn't put anything inside this model file. However, the point is about the Grasshopper script file. So how to open this one up? How can we open the Grasshopper file? You cannot do that right here, okay? It won't work. So you have to open up the Rhino Grasshopper, okay? Let me turn off mine first. Wait for a second. So once you open up Rhino Grasshopper, it will look like this. This is your Rhino Grasshopper panels. So just go to File, Open Document, and open up the Rhino Grasshopper file. That's the scenes we save for our script. So open up the scenes that we have made in the last week, NTUTWS repo. That's our example. And let me turn off the sound, okay? So that's the things we have made in the last time. So last time we just finished this one using Polygon to generate a region for create points and use populate 2D for generate random points inside this region. So that's the whole things we have done before. So we're using the populate 2D for create the point inside this rectangle. And we can using C to control the randomness of the point. And also if you want to increase the number of the points, you can by change and drag this slider and change the number of the point. So that's the things we have done before, okay? And for this time, we are going to do some more advanced setting and also make our model be interactive with the music. So that's the point, that's the things we are going to do. I will stop right here and give you probably 2 minutes to turn on your file. And also, if you haven't finished your stuff, just take a look about the screen, then we will keep moving forward. So if you are asking where you can find the recording of the class, please take a look. So first thing about the setting of Firefly and also how to make the sound repo, you can find the content inside 010 and 011. These two videos will show you how to make the things we are working on right now. Of course, there will be some minor difference between the physical teaching class and online teaching class. That's the things I usually will do on my class. But basically, the major concept and most of them are pretty much the same. And second thing about the RAM. For the RAM part, you can find the video right here on 015, 015. That's the recording for the RAM part. And finally, for the fish tank modeling, basically the fish tank itself, there's nothing special about that. So you can just using your own technique to finish that. But for the content inside, like the water or like the water grace, the rock, that kind of stuff, well, that will be the model assets I will just give you. You can just directly using them. And for the major part will be this, the subdivision modeling goldfish. That will be a very important part because for these sections, you are going to learn how to use in subdivision for making different type of organic model. So that will be the point for the modeling part. So that's the whole thing. Okay. All right. So let's take a look about the file that we have right now. Before we start, I want to share you guys a news. Probably, if you are following the latest AI news, you will know that recently Google just released the latest versions of their AI model Gemini 3. Okay, probably they say this will be the most powerful one. And I have tried the vibe coding stuff right here before, and it is pretty good. Okay, it is truly pretty good. And another one is Google Anti-Gravity, another coding tool, similar to Copilot, one that can help you to do the coding stuff. Okay, so yeah, that will be awesome with this one. So right now, although we have so many different vibe coding tool like Google Gemini, Copilot, or Cursor, that kind of stuff, but probably this one is one of the best. And also recently, ChatGPT just released the latest model, 5.1. So probably our AI tutor, no matter it's about Unreal AI tutor that international student will use, or the Rhino 30 AI tutor, probably there will be some slightly change. Okay, there will be some slightly change. But I think for the rest of process right now, we only use the basic functions inside. So for the major part still will be the same. Okay, so just want to share you some experience and also my point of view. Right now, yes, for the vibe coding things, we do can make many things through the AI tools. No matter you want to make a little game, or you want to make the image editing, or maybe you want to editing the video part. Yes, with the power of AI, you do can make many different things without the learning curve and also learning effort. But the point is still about human being. You are the decision maker. So you have to know what's the problem of your code or what's the problem of your image and video. So what's the point? Why this one is better than that? And if you want to do manual change, is there any way for you to do that? So that will be the point. Now, for this class, the tools that right now we're working on actually is pretty simple. I'm not so 100% sure about that. But I think with the AI tool, probably you just go to Gemini and using Gemini code to do that. You can just do that in a very easy way, or using P5JS. I think it will be another easy way to make music visualizations. But again, I hope through this class you can understand the infrastructure, the wireframe of this little script, so that in the future, when you are going to do the instruction for the AI, you know how to split the different function part and how to give the AI the instruction and help them to finish your work. So not just give them, okay, make this one for me, but split the work in the specifically and give them specific order and make the result better and more precise. That will be the future trend for you. Okay. All right, let's just keep moving forward. So right now we have these two things, the polygon and also public 2D. But you will find out the polygon looks a little bit weird. It looks like a diamond shape, not a rectangle. And I don't want to do this. I want this one can be a regular rectangle just like this one, okay? It can face us, not rotate in 45 degree. So how can we fix this problem? Very simple. Let's just go to find rotate. Double click on the empty area and go to find rotate. For this time, just using rotate 2D, not rotate 3D. Just like what we have mentioned before, Grasshopper is exactly similar to Rhinoceros. So in Rhinoceros, we have rotate and also rotate 3D. In Grasshopper, we have the same things. So right here, please search rotate, ROTATE, and just find rotate one. So this is the one that we're going to use. And for this part, you can see this component, these functions has three inputs. So which means you have to provide three different parameters to this component. The first one, assign the target geometry to this component. So for sure that target geometry will be this polygon. Connect here to this part. And second thing, angle. This part will be the number of the degree that you want to rotate. Right now, I don't need to do that. Let's just keep this one empty. Let's talk about the output. So right now, the output part, you can see that the output things will be another new geometry. So for this one, I want to use this geometry to replace the populate 2D one. So let's just replace this one. Okay. Right now, nothing special, nothing changed. Let's go to the angle part. So just using Ctrl C and Ctrl V, copy one more slider. And for this slider, I want to change the maximum number to 360 because if we want to rotate for one circles or one round, the total number will be 360. So let's right click, go to values, change the maximum number right here. Click commit change. So right now the maximum number for this slider will be 360. If you don't want to do that, you think this is too time consuming, just double click on empty area and type in 360. So it will automatically create a 360 slide for you. But you can see that the maximum number is 1000. So probably this one is not the best object for us. So I will using the first one, connect here to that part. So right now you can see that we can use this slider to do the rotations. Okay? And here you can see a very interesting thing. For this part, the previous polygon, the previous rectangle still show up right here. And this one, right now the one I click, and it will be turned into green one, it still show up. So it just this is a very good example to show the feature of Rhino Grasshopper. For every component, it will run one time and show you the result. So right here in this component, it show you the first diamond shape. And in the second one, it show you the rotating result. In the third one, it show you the populate points inside this rectangle. So for every component, it will run one time. But there will be a problem, just like we have mentioned before. If you have too many components, it means that it has to run one time, two times, and three times. It's a linear process. So for sure, try to reduce the number of the component will be a very important job for you guys. So that will be about the optimization for this little screen. Okay, using less component to finish your work. So that's the thing. Just like when you are working on your program, try to using less lines to do your job. It will be a better way. Okay, I will stop right here. Please finish this part. And sorry, let me finish this part and then you can start to work. So right here you can see I want this one rotate 45 degrees, 90 degrees, so that it can be turned into the shape of rectangle. Let's type in, double click on this part and type in 90. Okay, it rotates, but it doesn't look right, right? Why is that? Take a look about this part, the angle. Right now you can see that the angle, if you put your mouse icon right here, it will tell you this one right now actually is the Euler system. So which means a little bit hard to explain, but anyway, you know pi, right? So in the Euler system, they don't use in a degree, they use in a pi. So zero point 0.5 pi, 1 pi, 2 pi, that would be the number we will use right here. But I don't think that would be intuitive enough for us. So rather than using the Euler system, please right click on this part, change this one to degree. So right now it will be the right things that we are going to use. So you can see that right now if you want to rotate this one into probably 45, so it will be the right things that we want to have. And for the first one, you can right click and choosing turn off the preview. So it will become deep gray color, and this one will be the final result. Okay, I will stop right here, and then you can start your work. Give you probably around 8 minutes to 10 minutes to finish this part. So right now we already have the polygon and also the point inside, and also we have rotate this one into 45 degree. Right now I'm using hexagon, but if you want, you can make this one increase the number of the segment, make this one become a circle. Up to you, okay? But for now, I will just go back to further side polygon and also rotate this one 45 degree. Let's keep moving forward. So the next things we are going to do, if we want to have a ripple-like shape, how can we do that? So right now we already have the points, right? We already have the point. So the next things we can do is to create a create a circle using using the point as the center and create multiple circles on them. So that's the things we can do. Let's go to curve and go to find circle. Okay. Inside Rhino Grace Harper, there is only one button for circle, one option for circle, unlike the actually we still have many things. So circle 3PT, circle V, etc. So just exactly like the rhinos is inside. But the one we will use still will be the first one, circle. Okay, go to find circle and two input points. So just choosing the first one, points. So now you can see that there is a circle show up on the points. And for sure, you can copy one slider to here and using this slider to change the size of the circle. So just like this, okay? So now we already have the repo, but it's not interactive yet, right? So this one still have to be changed. Let's just leave them like this, okay? Just leave them like this. Put a circle right here and just using a temporary slider and so that we can use this one to change the size of the circle. And if you want to make them be connected and linked, you can just directly drag this one to here. So that meanwhile, when we change that, you can also change, when we change the position of this points, also you can change the size of the circle, up to you. But anyway, this one is just a temporary solution, not for the final result. Okay, I will stop right here for this part. So now let's go back to the Firefly. If you have already installed Firefly on your PC, then you are able to use this function. But unfortunately, Firefly is not doesn't support Mac version. So if you use a Mac, we have to using another different alternative option to do that. So for this part, you can temporarily ignore it. Anyway, let's go back to Firefly. So inside Firefly, you can see that there are many different panels right here. First one for Arduino, so which means that you can use in Rhino for simulate the Arduino result. And for sure, the utility, the vision, and that kind of stuff, that's all the different functions inside Firefly. So for these kind of things, we are going to use also motion capture. This one connect to. So you can use in connect to do the skeleton tracker. But all these functions is relative all, I would say. Probably since this one is already ended in 10 years ago, so I'm pretty sure right now it cannot support the latest functions. But for this part, the audio part is relative simple, so we still can use that. Let's just drag all of them down. The first one, the frequency spectrum. Second one, sound capture. That will be the things we are going to use, okay? And here, the node for frequency. And final one, the tone generators. For this one, probably we don't need to use them right now. So anyway, let's take a look. So for the frequency, spectrum frequency, this one, frequency spectrum. So you will see that if your Rhino successfully connected to your speaker and your microphone, then the spectrum will change, fluctuate right here. So you can see that if I raise my voice, this part goes up. So you can use this one to test whether your microphone, whether your speaker works or not. If it's not work, please make sure go to here, go to your speaker, microphone, and go to the setting of the sound. Okay, go to the setting of the sound and take a look about, wait for a second. Take a look about the, I don't know how to say that, but probably something like audio mixtures, audio mixing stuff. And make sure right now can use your speaker, okay? Make sure Rhino can adapt your speaker. Otherwise, it won't work. Okay? So that will be the first thing we have to do. You have to allow Rhino to use your speaker. Otherwise, this part won't work. Okay, so now let's take a look. I think this part we will explain later because that will be the core part of our script. Okay? we will use this one to capture our song and transform the song into the data, use the data to change the size, the move of our geometry. So this part will be the core part of the entire script. It will be like the engine of our script. And we can play around with this one. Probably some of you already see the things I'm working on. This is a tone generator. We can using the data, some data to change, using the data to generate the frequency and tones. The first one is about the audio frequency. Okay, so you can just give this one a slider. Let's take a look. This is a finished one. Let me move them here. All right. So anyway, let's give them a slider. So probably you can type in 100. Have you heard that? Sounds like noise, but anyway, that's the tone generator. And the second one, that's about the value. Okay, the value of your sound. For sure, you can use another slider to control that. Okay, and the third one will be about the duration, which means how long your song will be. So let's copy one more. Maybe not, it doesn't have to be that long. Okay, and final one, that's about repeat. You can see that the input point right here is a little bit different. If you just connect this one to here, it won't work because this one is a Boolean option. Okay, this one is a Boolean option, so you have to input a Boolean component inside to make this component work or not, be true or false. So please go to here. The Boolean option is, I'm not so sure. Okay, right here. In the first part parameter, go to find Boolean toggles, drag this one down. Or you can just search on the empty area, go to find Boolean toggles. Okay, this one. Connect to here. If you make this one, okay guys, can you please turn down a little bit? Because right now, it's a little bit too noise, too loud. So for this part, you can see that right now it's false. If you make this one become true, it will always be turned on. So you can use this one as a switcher to turn on this program or not. So right now, this part can be pretty interesting, which means that right now we're just using a slider to do that, right? We're just using a slider to do that. But how about this? For example, let's just draw a circle and put this circle using this container to drag this circle inside, right click, set one circle. Okay, so now we have the data right here. And for this one, we can use vector to deconstruct the circle's coordinate. So let's go to find this one, deconstruct coordinate. So now you can choose, do you want to use in X direction or Y number, X1 number, Z number to control the frequency. Let's connect them. So let's see. So we can use this one, the movement of this circle to control the frequency. And probably if you want, you can use in one number to control the volume. Okay, now that works. Probably the Y number is too low. All right, because I'm full right now. And this one. All right, anyway, so you can use in a different geometry to control the tones, or if you want, you can use in color picker. So there's a color picker right here. Using the HSL to control this number. So which for these little tools, it allows you to using geometry to control the sound. Also allows you to using color to control the sound. Also allow you to using multiple ways to generate the tones. Although this one is not a professional mixing audio software, but I think there are some interesting things we can deal with. All right, I will stop right here and give you some time to do the test. So you can just using slider to do that, or you can try to using geometry to do that. So just try using your creativity to do your experiment. Let's keep moving forward. So now let's take a look about the core part of the entire program. And for the one who use Mac, unfortunately, you are not allowed to use this one because there's no version for Mac version, and we will using an alternative one later. Okay, so anyway, let's take a look about this part. Let's finish this part first. So why we need to use this one? Why we need to use this one? Let me explain the idea to you guys first. So right now we already have the circle, right? We have the circle, and we can use in the public 2D to generate multiple circle inside these regions. But the idea is that I hope the size of the circle can be changed based on the sound, based on the audio volume. So if I raise my voice, the size of the circle will be changed. And also the position of the ripple will be changed as well. So which means this, for this part, probably if I speak faster, or maybe if I speak slow, then the number of the points and also the position of the points will be changed. So in order to do that, we need to use Firefly. Let's just say this one is Firefly. We need to using Firefly to do that because the Firefly that is a tool that can help us to analyze our sound, analyze our voice, and transform the frequency and value into the data that we can use. So that's the reason why we need to use that. And for the Mac users, then for this part we can just only use simple data and number to do that. But it's not the data of our song. That's the problem for now. But yeah, it is okay. After all, Mac user doesn't have this plugin. All right, let's take a look. So how can we use in Firefly to help us analyze our audio, analyze our song? So the things we are going to use will be this one, sound capture. Let's take a look. Sound capture is a little bit abstract, a little bit hard to explain. But we can take a look about this here. So this one is a sound capture. Let's finish this one first, okay? So you don't have to understand the idea right now, but just finish the setting right here. So first thing, there are two input points. The first one is time period. The second one is the start, stop sound capture. So the first one, very simple. Let's just give the first one a simple slider. It will be fine. So let's just double click on empty area and probably type in 10 and connect this one to here. Okay. And for the second one, it's a little bit different. We have to go to parameter, go to the UTEL, and choosing triggers. Okay. And for the trigger, click the middle one, change this one to the timer. The time look like an icon. And you can just drag, connect them to the second options. Okay. So now, in order to test whether your sound capture works or not, let's drag a panel, the first under the parameter part. Drag a panel down and connect the V part, the volume part to here, because the major things we are going to use will be the volume. So now let's do the test. Probably I would drag this, turn this one to time per reel. Okay, so now it worked, but very slow. I will explain why it is so slow. So you can see that the number is start to change. We start to record our song, and also if I raise my voice, you can see the number goes up. If I lower down my volume, the number goes down. Okay, so now we can use this one to extract the volume of my song. So please help me to finish this part, and I will explain the detail of the data later. So after we finish this part, then we will take a break, 20 minutes break, okay? So let's talk about what's the meaning of these two components. The first one, time period, and second one, the triggers. So first things you can use in the frequency spectrum, and using this one to see right now the shape of our voice, how it looks like. So basically, our sound is a continuous curve, right? So it will just go up and down. If we just keep talking, it will just be a continuous circle. So in order to analyze these sound, we have to make this one become a couple different segments. So probably this is the first segment, second segment, third segment. And what's the meaning of this segment? We can use in time to divide it, to define that. So this is first second, second second, 10 second. And if you want to use analyzing time can be longer, then you can change this one to 10 second, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, etc. So every segment, it can be 1 second, 2 second, or probably even longer, 10 seconds. So that's the meaning of the first one, the time period. So if you make this one become longer, then the time period will be longer. And if you make this one shorter and smaller, then the time period uh, analyzing segment will be short. So that's the things about the first part. And how about this one? For sure, the trigger is just like a switcher to open up the sound capture or not. So you can just press this button to turn on this script. Okay? So once you turn on, then this one will start to run it. Okay? But another important thing is about the internal timing. So the first one is about to choose the length of the time, right? The time segment, the time period. The second one is about how detailed you want to analyze this. So if you're choosing 1 second and also choosing this 1 second, it will just based on these sections to do the analysis. Okay, this is the time period, and this is the analysis. And if you're choosing one, it will just using 1 second. Every 1 second, it will analyze this one time. But if you want to have more detail, so for example, if we can zoom in, right? We can zoom in and you can see that even for just 1 microsecond, there are still many detailed information inside. So if you want to your time and your song analysis be more specific and detailed, you can increase the number of the interval. Decrease the number of interval. Probably change this one to 10 microseconds, so that this one will be even more accurate. So it will be a continuous number show up right here. So that's the difference. If you don't need such a precise analysis, then you can make this one bigger, maybe 1 minute, so that this one won't be that accurate at all. But if you want to have this one can be super accurate, then you can turn this one to a very small number, maybe just 50 microsecond. So that's the things. The first one, time period to choose the analysis segment. Second one, to choosing the analysis detail. So if you want to make more detailed number data, then you can decrease the number right here. Okay, so that's the things about the two important feature of sound capture. So right now you can see that for every 50 microsecond and during 1 second period, it will give you a series of number. Okay, right here. So that's the things. So I will stop right here and let me using the Chinese to do the explanation one more time. So again, for the Mac user, because you don't have the Firefly, so please wait for a second. And after I finish the demonstration for this part, for the major part, then I will show you alternative option for you. But unfortunately, it's not a fully function option. So which means that even you follow my instruction and finish the script, that one still cannot be interacted with the song and music. But in the end, you can make a similar result. All right. Okay, so let's keep moving forward. So now we have finished this part. This is the core of the entire script. We are going to use this one as an engine to run the whole things. So let's activate that one. So you can see that from right now, every 50 microsecond, it will capture some data to this panel. By the way, this one we call that one panels. We will use this one to do many things. You can write down the number here, probably 40 or something, and use this one to replace the slider. And or you can just directly write down the code right here. So basically this one is very powerful. It's just a container and it can contain almost everything inside. All right, anyway, I will delete that one. So the next things we're going to do, because right now this one is so temporary, so it's too temporary. So yeah, first things we can use this one. Take a look. We can connect here to the random seed. So you can see that right now the points will base on the my value to change the random position. So that's the first thing we can try to play with. So right now we don't need to use the slider to do that anymore. Okay? But obviously this one is too large, right? This one is too large and too fast. So I don't want to do that. So we can use a little slider to adjust the number right here. Otherwise, the random seed is too high and the point will just keep randomly jumping again and again. So in order to do that, we can simply using probably multiplications. This one, connect to here. And maybe right here you can put a very small number, maybe just type in 1. And for this one, we can adjust a little bit. By the way, for that one, we have to set this one as floating points, not integer. Integer, if you choose an integer, it will be only from 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you choose a floating point, then you can choose very small numbers, just like 0.1, 0.2, something like that. Let's connect them together. Connect this one to the C. Okay. So now if you increase, this one will be bigger. And this, if you decrease, this one will be smaller. Okay. A very small number. So right now, if I say something, the circle will jump and change the positions. Okay. So the next things will be about the size of the circle and the number of the circle. Since the things we want to do will be like repo, so it must be a co-center, multiple core-center circles. Okay, it must be multiple core-center circles. So in order to do that, first things you can see that for every time, every 15 microsecond, it will only give us one number at that timing. So the things we are going to do in order to create multiple circle, which means that we need to have multiple data. Okay, multiple data, this one. So how can we do that? How can we make this one become multiple data? So we can collect them. Right now, once it goes past y, it will disappear. But we can collect them. So the things we are going to use will be a container which named recorder, data recorder. All right, data recorder. So that's K. Go to find data recorder, this one. Data recorder. So connect this one, this panel to here, and then you can choose how many data you want to have, how many data you want to collect. So let's just choose record limit. I think 6 or 5 will be quite enough. And if your laptop is not that powerful, just choosing maybe 4, it will be quite enough. Okay. So if you connect the data recorder to another new panel, you will see that right now you can see full data will show up right here from 0 to 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. That's the data that we collected. I think 5 microseconds still is too huge. I want it probably 500 microseconds. Okay, so this is the data recorder. Let's keep moving forward. So right now you can see that all this data is super huge because sometimes I will raise my voice and make the number getting bigger. Sometimes I will reduce my voice and make the volume turn down. But the number is not stable enough. So in order to make them stable, I want to use a concept which named mapping. Okay, so that's the things we are going to do. Let's code out the component, put the component to the canvas first, then we will explain what's the idea inside. So first things, please give me this one, construct domain. This is the first one we are going to use. Right here, under the math, construct domain. Second one, bounds. And final one, remap. So that's the three components we are going to use. Even for the Mac user, although you don't have this part, right now you don't have this part, right? But you can just simply using a panel to replace that. So for the rest part, it will be the same, okay? Please make the same things just right here. So for this part, you still can follow. So first things, please code out all these three components, then we will keep moving forward. Alright guys, let's keep moving forward. So the next things I want to do, so you can take a look. Right now, because sometimes we will raise our voice and sometimes we will turn down our voice. So the number is not that stable. So sometimes it will goes up, sometimes it will goes down. So that will be the problem. Because in this case, if we just directly connect this number to our circles, take a look. So you will suddenly turn to super huge, right? And sometimes it will goes down. So that will be the problem. That's not the things we want to have. Okay? Let's disconnect them. Disconnect. Panel. So the things we're going to do is called mapping. So which means we are going to reduce the number here and remap the oldest four number to another different domain. So for this part, I think I can ask you guys something. So probably some of you can explain the idea about this word map and mapping. Okay. If you need, then you can ask your AI, but I think probably you can using your own understanding to explain the idea of this. So what that means, what's that for, and what kind of number, what kind of info we have to give this component in order to finish these operations. So that will be the things I want to ask you. Is there anyone who can answer me or give me some idea about what's the meaning of that? 同学有没有人可以跟我解释一下这个字是在做什么？这个东西在干嘛？Anyone? You can use in Chinese to say to explain if you need. Anyone? Mapping? 我们现场有媒体组的同学，然后高中的时候是比较属于电子电机类的吗？啊，怎么可能没有？一定有吧？好，那就是你了，帮我解释一下这边吧。啊，这个呢，不可能啦，一定有高中的时候啦，只是可能你不知道它是那个字而已啦，是数学上的一个字啦。 All right, so probably I can ask international student, Felicia, can you explain the idea of mapping to me? Mapping. There is an explanation under this component, so you can just directly read that. Remap number into a new number domain, the metric domain. So that's the idea of mapping, okay? All right. 同学哦，这边稍微讲一下，其实这个我觉得还蛮重要的哦，因为其实在你们未来，不论是 Rhino 还是其他的工具，大概都会用到这一个东西哦，就是映射。那这是数学里面的一个字啦，其实就是指说我把比方说你把某一个坐标系哦，这个是 x、y 的坐标系，然后这边有一个点，然后你要把它对应到另外一个没有找到，我来一次哦。是 x y 的坐标系，然后这是某一个点点，然后你要把它对应到另外一个，比方说我们说是非平面几何的 UV 好了，啊这边，那这个东西过程就叫做 mapping 哦，这就叫做映射哦。那这当然是数学上的讲法了。那有的时候是为什么这边会 error？有的时候会是，好啊，run out time。有的时候会是这个有的时候会是部分能够部分映射，那有的时候会是全部能够映射过去哦。所以这边的话，大概就是 mapping 的概念。那我们在即便不是这么数学的关系，其实你在做动画，或者说你在做游戏里面的一些场景置换的时候，大概也都会用到 mapping 这样的一个操作，因为我们常常会更换我们的坐标轴。然后让你的角色能够跟着物件或是跟着某一个场景走，所以大概都会用到这样子一个概念。Alright, guys. So I think mapping is a very important idea inside 3D games, 3D animation, or all different kinds of media design platforms. So for example, when we are working on 3D animation, sometimes you have to make the object follow certain things to move. In that situation, you need to use a map to make the original coordinate remap to the new coordinate. So that's our idea about mapping. For now, the things we are going to do is relatively simple. Okay, that will be relatively simple. So for this part, you can see that the number right here, they are too huge and it's not that stable. So we need to force them become a more stable number area. So for example, no matter how big it is, maybe sometimes it will go to 200, 900 or something that's too big, right? And sometimes it will go super small, maybe 1, 3, 5, 4. So we will have different type of number series. But no matter how big it is or how small it is, I want to transform them into a new number area, new domain. So probably the maximum will be 5, the smallest one will be 1. So that will be the number area I want to do. So in order to do that, here is the things we need to use in remap. Okay? So first things, the first one, bound. This one will help us to find the maximum number and the smallest number. So you can see that if we connect this one to here, actually we don't need this one anymore. You can just directly connect this one to here. Okay? So you can see that it finds the minimum one and the maximum number for us. So it somehow creates a domain. There's an original domain, original number area. And now we have a new one. So the new one will be here. This is a new domain. We have to define the minimum and the maximum one. So you can define by yourself. I will create a new number slider. The maximum will be 10. So right here, this is the 10. Let's start with 1, okay? And the maximum will be probably around 5 or 4, up to you. So now we have a new domain. So this is the O1, This is the old one, and this is the new one. Okay, old one and new one. So the thing is like this. Here is the value. Let's take a look. And here is the source. Here is the target. So we have to input these three things step by step, follow this step, and finish the connection between these two. So the source one will be this. This is the old domain. And this one will be the new one, the new domain. Okay? And the final one will be here. Let me double check that. Okay. The final one will be here. Connect this one to here. So now we have successfully remapped the old number to the new number. I will delete this one and also delete my note. Okay, so this is about mapping. Right now we have successfully remapped the number from the old domain to the new domain. This is the old domain from our audio analysis, and the new domain will be right here. So you will force them to be remapped to the new one. So let me draw a diagram for you. This is the old one. Probably it will be from 100 to maybe 200. And the new one, it will help us to remap the number to 1 to 4. And no matter how many number you have, probably there will be, okay, 600, 900, and there will be another 961. Right here, it will become probably 3.6, 2.4, etc. Just based on the scaling, they will scale down all this number to the new target. So that's the thing. So please help me to finish this part, then we will keep moving forward. Probably let's give you around 6 minutes to finish these operations. 同学，给大家大概6分钟左右时间，请你帮我把这个地方给处理完了，应该不会很复杂。So, in the previous operation, we have already finished this little script, and that can help us to remap one domain to another new domain. So that's the things we have just finished. So some of you probably will notice once you finish the connection of these multiple components, well, the type of the line is a little bit different. Some of them is this kind of solid line. Some of them is this kind of empty line. And I think right here, okay, there's nothing like that. It's okay. Some of them is this kind of dot line. Okay. So what's the difference? Why we have the always different type of lines inside? So in order to explain this idea, let's take a look about the panel. Okay, let's take a look about the panel. So for this empty, first thing is let's see this kind of solid line first. So if you connect this one, this number, this one is a solid line, right? This connection, they are the solid line. If you connect this component to this panel, you will see that the result, there's only one number inside. It's just 4. 4 is the only data inside this component. So this solid line only transmits one data. And let's take a look about this one, the empty one. If we connect to here, so you will see that there are 4 numbers inside. So the empty line actually, it means that there are multiple data inside. And for the solid line, it means that there's only one data, no matter it's a one number or one region or maybe a Boolean target, Boolean number. It means there's only one data inside. So that's the difference between the empty line and the solid line. If you want to use it another way to explain to show that, take a look about this one. There is a object which named parameter viewers. So this one is a visualizing of your data structure. If you double click, so you can see that this one, there's a multiple data. And for that one, probably there's only one data inside. So this is the viewer for showing the different structure of the data. So you can using the parameter viewer to show the structure of your number. So that's the things, okay? So that's the things you can play with using this parameter. But I think using panel probably will be even more clear because you can just directly see what kind of number inside, okay? All right, so let's keep moving forward. For the next thing, because we want to create a co-center circle, right? So we need, in order to do that, we need to use series to do that. What's the function of series? Let's take a look. You can find this component, I think right here. I'm not so sure. Okay, I think, where is that? Series. Okay, right here. Under the sets and sequence, you can find series. Okay, series. So this one is a very useful component inside Rhino Grasshopper. If you want to automatically generate a series of numbers, then we can use this one. All right. So for this one, you can see there are three input points: start number, how many for every state, how much you want to add in, and finally how many number you want to have. So that's the three input points for the series. So through the series component, you can generate a series of different numbers inside. So that's the function of series. So since right now we want to create a circle like this, so probably let's say this will be our repo. So it will be a co-center circle. So basically for every state, one of them can be a still same similar number. So that's the things. Series will be a perfect solution for these situations. So let's go back to here, series. So for the first one, the start number, I think we can start with, let's just copy this one, okay? Copy, Control C and Control V, copy this slide to here. And now let's talk about the number of the state. The default setting is 1. I think 1, probably we can use this one to adjust. So let's try to using remap number to here. Okay, just like this. And how about the next one? The number we want to have. It can be the similar things just like this one. Right now we have 4 number. So for this part, let's just have 4 number. I think it will be quite enough. Okay. So now let's try. Let's connect this one to here. So now we have multi-circle. Let's see. Okay. All right. So it will jump like this. I will stop right here and give you some time to finish the operation. Oh, by the way, if your computer is a little bit lagging, is a little bit slowed down, then first thing is you can try to clear the data. Okay, click this cross section and clear all the data. And all the rest part, since there's no number, no data inside, they will be turned to orange color. Then restart again so that you will somehow speed up your computer performance. Series 在这边了，你们可以在这里看找到它 series。接到 circle 的半径 radius 这里，我把它缩小一点，这样你们可能可以看得比较清楚了。And for by the way, for the Mac user, let's try this one. For the Mac user, because we don't have the sound capture from Firefly, so please using this way to replace that. For all these things, including data recorder and also these little multiplications and sound capture, we don't need that. For your case, please using random. Using random to replace all the rest of the things. Random is right here. I think you can find them. Where is that? Random. Okay, right here. Still under the sets sequence random. So you can find them right here. Then for the random, there are three input points. First thing is range. You can use this one to define the range of the number from 0 to 5 or maybe from 0 to 100 up to you. The second thing is about the number. So how many number you want to have here. The final thing, that's the one we can use for controlling the randomness. So you can change the seed. By changing this one, the number will change as well. So for this one, we can use a list to replace the sound capture. But still, in order to create that kind of random effects, you still need to use manually dragging to change the number slide. So that's the problem. But I would say this is the solution for your case. Okay. I will copy this one to here so that sometime if you need, you can take a look.等我一下。
我的这个这样接过来，它会变很多个圈圈。它圈圈数不是应该是看这个吗？
你看一下里面到底有多少东西。先停一下，我们好。你怎么？
右键直接打。
推荐的按住吗？
对对对。
反正我说，假设你真的不知道，那我们就看看里面有多少东西。虽然是4个没错，可是你有好多个 state，你有好多个群组，所以实际上你应该有16个，我猜，还不止。
怎么回事？那为什么会有这么多？是从哪里跑出来的？
这边，你看你这边啊，你这边的我把它移过去，你这边本来就有超多组数了，应该是你那时候没有设。你看这边就是你全部在记录的你的 value 的数字，所以我们把它改一下，这边10组吧，我记得应该只要4组就够了。
所以这个方块就是记录它有记录几种声音。
因为你这个只有当下嘛，它就是每50毫秒帮你记一次嘛，所以它就会帮你收集，每4次它就把你放到这里。
对。
那我们这4组的数字，我们这边就只是把它做一下前处理而已。然后弄完以后就丢到这边来，把它拿来做应用。我们现在试试看，看有没有好一点，应该会好一点。
谢谢老师。
For your case, so right now, where are you? Where is your stuff? Yes, for this part you can use it just follow the same way, but we don't need this one. This one we don't need. Yeah, just keep like this. And since we are going to use, wait for a second. Here. Just using random to replace that. So the render is right here. Let's go to sets.
I already placed the random.
Where? Oh, but you haven't finished the rest of this part. I will use this one for do the test. So since you already have now, I will just directly. How to copy that? Control C, Alt C. Okay, so okay, for this one, let's using this to replace the random sheet. If you want, you can use this one too. Multiplications. So basically, we just multiply this number with a small number so that we can do some adjust. But it's up to you. Actually, we don't need that one now, but it's just a little bit adjustment. And for the rest part, pretty much the same. Just connect this one to here. Here is the source data. So now we have, I think, yeah. So let's see. Scale down this one. Minimize. Okay. So in your case, we can only do using the manually control to do that. So that's fine. Like that. So this is the blue one is the result. Okay. So.
Because I can't move the whole thing downwards.
You mean the blue one?
The white one, I think.
You can delete that. I'll go ahead and delete that.
Because the white part, I can modify it.
That's weird. Let's save this one first. Why can I remove that? I cannot even select that. That's good. Alright, it's okay. Anyway, you can finish your stuff. Just follow this order. And in your case, just using these to do the random change. I don't think we need that. But probably we can change the number. Okay, so
好，同学，我们就准备继续了哦。Alright, guys, let's keep moving forward, okay? Okay. So please take a look. So right now we already have this multiple circle right here. And if you want to increase the number, so first things you have to change is right here. For the data recorder, please change the record limit to the number you want. And second thing, for the number of the series, please change the number right here so that you can increase that. Okay, so that's the couple things that we have to do. And the next thing is that right now, if you rotate your view to probably side view or something, you will find out all the things you did is flattened. And there will be a problem in that. Right now, all these things, they are just lines. So in order to make them can be seen under the render view or make them become real true 3D model, we have to make them become surface. So in order to make this one become surface, we have to using planar surface, just like the things we have done inside Rhinosys. So let's go to surface and go to find boundary surface, this one. Connect them together and they will become surface. But the problem will be right here. You can see that since all of them are on the same floor, same level, so all this plane will be overlapped. So you can see that the color will be mixed and also the result is not that good at all. You will have this kind of cliche on the border, on the surface. So it's not the result what we want to have. In order to solve this problem, we are going to using a function which named move. Okay, move. So that's the things we are going to use. So how can we use that? The move you can find right here. I think under. I really don't remember where it is. Anyway, let's just find double click on the empty area and choosing move. So for this part, it's very simple. You have to choose in the geometry. There are two input points. The first one, geometry. Second one, the motion, which means you have to give this function a vector. Okay? You have to give this one a vector so that it can follow the direction and the number to move. First thing, let's connect the geometry to the geometry one. So you can see that all of them has been moved by the default setting, 10 vector 10, move to the z direction. Okay? But it's not the number we're going to have. And also for all these circle, it's supposed to have 4 vector so that they can move individually, right? Not just directly move them up. That's not the result we want to have. So let's take a look at the result. First thing is we have to define the number that we want to move. Second thing, the direction we want to move. So it will be the z direction. And second thing, we have to define how much you want to move. So for that part, we can just simply using series number again. Usually I want to move your object because they have the same number, right? So let's try to do that. First thing, let's go to find vector and find the unit z. That will be the first vector we are going to use. Move them up. Second thing, you can connect the series to the z vector. So now you can see that all of them move into the different level. But probably some of them is probably some of them is a little bit too huge. So still we can use this little trick to do some change. Using multiplication, connect them to here. The first one will be right this one, and you can put a smaller number, maybe just like here. Let's copy this one. Control C, Control V, copy this number slider because this is a floating number. Okay, so to here. So we can use this one to adjust the things you want to have. Okay, so that's the result. And once you finish, we don't need this. We don't have to connect them anymore. Let's just connect the final geometry to the boundary. So now we will have the new pattern right here, new surface right here. So that's the result. Okay. This one about move the pattern to the top. Maybe I can put them right here and do some arrangement. So this is about to move the geometry to the top. And right now we don't need the old one anymore. So you can right click, turn off the preview. And also if you don't want to see the points, you can right click, turn off the preview so that you will see the final one, this one. Okay, so that's the things. I will stop right here. I think that's the final progress for today. For the next time, it's almost finished. Okay, it's painful, but I would say we are almost finished the whole thing. And also, one more thing we can do. You can do some organizing for this script. For example, this part you can press Ctrl G and make this one become a group. For this part, you can Ctrl G, make them become a group. Using this way to do the arrangement and organizing. All right. So this is the whole thing. I will stop right here. Please try to finish this part. Wait for a second. This will be the last part for today's class. So just like what I have mentioned before, I think the advantage of graphic coding is that it's very intuitive. You can totally understand the structure of the script through this kind of graphic. But the problem is that it's very hard to maintain. And sometimes if your program is too complicated, other other classmates or your teammates will be very hard for them to change or modify, fix the bug, that kind of things. So in order to solve that problem, first things we can try to organize them. So for example, this part is about the circle movement. So you can Control G, okay? Using Control G to make them become a group. And if you don't like this way, you can double click. Sorry. Wait, why this one doesn't work? Okay. You can right click and choose this one to block outline or change this one to rectangle outline, up to you. So it's just about a different way for visualizing them. So I will using the box way. So first is you can just move them as a group. So you don't have to select them anymore. You can just move them as a group. And second thing is once you finish the grouping, next thing we can do some notations. Okay? Let's just try to make some notation right here. So if you want to type in some node inside Rhino Grasshopper, you can go to the first one, parameter, scribble. So this part, that's about the text inside Rhino Grasshopper. So for example, you can type in, this part is about generate. Okay, generate point and regions. And this part is about the sound captures. Okay, capture the sound. And for this part, it's about mapping. So basically, it's about the data processing. Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and here is about create move. So that's it. So through the notation, your classmate or your friend can understand more about your code. Then if they find out there's something wrong or if they want to change that, they can base on your notation and change that. So that's the thing I want you guys to try to do because it can also reflect what you have learned through this practice. All right. So I think that's all for today. If you don't have any other question, we can dismiss now. 同学，我刚刚在做的事情，其实就只是在做笔记啦，把你们的这个小程序去做一下整理，然后做一下笔记，然后方便以后你们的其他同学或者你未来要重新修正的时候，你可以从这些笔记里面去找到它的结构哦。那这个算是对于这种图像型编程的时候，可以拿来帮助他的地方哦。好，如果没有其他问题，大家就可以下课了哦。